Word of mouth advertising is one of the most effective ways to advertise your business.
I am not proud to say that this is the only way I have marketed. This is something I'm changing.
Hold on, wait. Be proud of it, okay? Like, just stop. If you've been in business for 30 years and word of mouth is working for you, you can be proud of that.
I say the best marketing money I've ever spent was buying my sales team drills.
Are you asking them for a list of folks that you could contact to offer them a friends and family discount?
No.
I think you are. I think you are, whether you realize it or not. That's one of the coolest things about being a small business is you can just do different stuff. We did at one point, we shipped people live lobsters from Maine. It was like wildly effective, actually. Like, you can use that list that you already have to do better today. Well, welcome to the call, everybody. This is the first coffee break call of 2025. Excited to have all of you here. Just a couple of quick notes. Number one, we have this call every week, Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern. You're always welcome to join. We have this call to talk about some of the issues, challenges, opportunities that dealers are seeing all over the U.S. And we've even had some folks join in from around the world, which is always pretty cool. One of the most common marketing practices that we hear from our dealers is that they just use word of mouth marketing. If word of mouth marketing is the sole marketing that you do today, could you do me a favor? Could you just raise your hand for me? So that means no advert, no pay-per-click, no mailers, no radio, no billboards, just word of mouth. Well, number one, I want to congratulate you. Word of mouth advertising is one of the most effective ways to advertise your business. It depends on your ability to service and install quality systems, right? And it depends on the reputation that you've built. I want to call on Lindsay. Lindsay, can you tell us a little bit about how you guys have built the business as it relates to just kind of the amount of customers that you get from word of mouth today?
I am not proud to say that this is the only way I have marketed. This is something I'm changing.
Hold on, wait. How many years has Emergency Systems been in business?
Like 30 years almost.
All right, so be proud of it, okay? Like, just stop. If you've been in business for 30 years and word of mouth is working for you, you can be proud of that. So We got that out of the way, but go ahead.
Yeah, basically what we do is I fully believe we do really quality work, and customer service is number one. I am amazing with my customers. They love me. I love them. And once a customer onboards with us, then they kind of just continue. Like, say we get one customer that's commercial. Well, then all of a sudden we have 12 of their sites. So they like what we do and they continue, and then their employees maybe like call us for a system, and that's really just how it's worked, which has been amazing. And now we're trying to get reviews, and so we have only a few reviews, like 20, but they're all 5-star. And word of mouth is just where we've been growing in 2025. I want to change that, and that's why I'm here to learn.
Awesome. Well, number one, word of mouth, I feel like it should be the cornerstone of anybody's marketing plan, right? Like, if there aren't folks that would say good things about you, well, then you probably shouldn't invest in any other marketing, right? I mean, you're gonna market yourself. People are gonna be dissatisfied, and really, you're just amplifying a bad reputation, right? But like anything you do now that's focused on the good reputation that you have, it's just amplification of that. And so I'm going to call on Lawrence up in Connecticut. Lawrence, it's Rents, right? You go by Rents?
I do.
All right, cool, Rents. So tell us a little bit about the word of mouth marketing. And first of all, how many years in business there?
We got our start through acquisitions in the beginning of 2012.
Awesome. And now you're in Connecticut and Florida, correct?
That is correct.
Awesome. And so how has word of mouth worked for you?
We've spent money in the past on billboards and TV commercials and radio, and just the ROI for me wasn't there. So we've strictly pivoted to just kind of brand management, and that's making sure that Vans are wrapped. Every install gets a mailbox sign, like directly on the mailbox. We're obsessive with stickers. We're obsessive with leaving, business cards when we're getting orders, like when we're buying coffee or eating out. So that is still word of mouth because we're not paying for pay per click or a direct mail campaign. But I would say it's all of our energy is focused on building our brand.
Hey, you're speaking my language here, man. I love it. Now we just gotta brand those keypads next for you. That's the next step of
That's
it.
Right.
You know?
That's right. Because they don't peel off like stickers do off.
That's right. Oh, he's got it. Stickers bubble, peel. They go on crooked if they go on at all. This guy knows the pitch already. I love it.
We make it even a point that if like we're locally owned, if it's a business that we have not been able to get in the last 13 years, just because they do not want an alarm and they're in a prime location, they're getting a yard sign.
Yeah.
We'll ask that you won't buy from me, but can I drill my sign, on your mailbox or onto your signage? And, then they start thinking, well, I guess people think I have security. I guess that's good. And then it's like, well, why don't you want an alarm? But that way, when someone's parked at a 4-way intersection, they're just seeing our sticker and sign everywhere.
I love that. I think so many times, I mean, it's kind of like the old door-to-door sales pitch, right? We're going to be in the neighborhood. You've just got such a nice property here. If we could put a sign out front, I'd like to hook you up with a free security system for the house. You're actually just putting the sign in. I wonder if they take the bait on a free security system. All they have to pay is the monitoring, right? But I feel like so many dealers.
We've tried for 12 years.
Yeah, just keep going, keep on them. And when something does happen, they'll know who to call. But I think so many dealers get stingy with their yard signs. Like I hear guys all the time. They say, "Oh, customer, they get one sign, and if they want 2 signs, then they have to pay for it." I've literally heard that. Like they will only give them 1 sign, and I'm thinking like, look, somebody wants one on each corner of their property. Like, okay, right? That's just free advertising. But I think that's cool that you're even giving out the signs to folks that don't have a system.
And Jake, we buy our salespeople drills because the techs, although they're supposed to put it on mailboxes, they don't always. And they also like it because it makes it really easy to identify what house they're pulling up to when it already has a sign.
Yeah.
So I say the best marketing money I've ever spent was buying my sales team drills.
That's brilliant. Yeah, I like that. So the sign goes up right before, not like pre-install. Sales guy sells it and he just puts a sign up, right?
He puts it up and he takes a picture.
I love that. Like, I feel like it's what you're doing is you're taking some of these things that like are like tactics that I wouldn't like, right? Like the door-to-door sales guy that does a high pressure sale and says, "Where do you want the keypad?" Customer says here. And so they punch a hole in the wall with their screwdriver, right? Like we'll put it right there then, right? Like this way the tech knows. And the reason that they do that is because if you poke a hole in somebody's wall, either they're going to continue with the install or they got to get somebody to fix the drywall, right? I am not condoning that kind of behavior. That is a shady practice, but maybe effective. I like the idea of putting the sign up. I think that's something and that's why I do these calls, because like I've never heard of somebody putting the sign up first. Does anybody else on the call put the sign up before they do the install? Just curious. Anybody on the call thinking, hey, like I think we should do that? Yeah, I'm seeing some nods. Yeah, brilliant. I'm glad. Thank you for adding that, Ren. So,
I just want to say the sign into the mailbox if you're in the Northeast or you get snow, because I have my guy, I banged it in. It's like, well, that's going to fall down in the first winter storm.
Yeah.
So that's
plow's going to take it out. They're going to be snow shoveling. Well, I think that's neat. Yeah, I didn't realize that. I didn't know that you could or couldn't put it on the mailbox here, but it makes sense up where it snows to definitely get it up out of the snow and out of the way and on the mailbox front and center. I think that's awesome. Step 2 of word of mouth marketing is a referral program. How many of you have a referral program in place? All right, well, we've got 7, 8, 9 out of 40 folks have a referral program in place. Now I'm going to call 5 of your customers randomly, and I'm going to ask them if they know that you have a referral program, and then we'll see what the percentage is. All right, so those of you that have a referral program, keep your hands up for me. Don't drop your hands. I'm going to go to Chuck. Chuck, you guys have a referral program. What is it?
Basically, $50 if you refer a customer and they go forward with the system.
When do you tell your customer about it?
At the time of install and at our sales pitch, when we close the deal on the sale. So those 2 times. And I do on service. When a service call comes in, I will, let them know that we have a referral program.
Okay. And how effective is it?
I think it's fair. I think we get some traction on it. We could probably do more marketing towards it, letting people know that it's there. A lot of people get lost in the abyss. I think most campaigns kind of get lost. People, there's 10 different ways to communicate with a person nowadays versus, back in the day, everyone used to answer the one phone that was in the house.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. It used to be so much easier to get people on the phone. I felt like, when I was first getting into business, I could call people and they would answer. Now I feel like I have to email them 15 times to try to schedule a time to have a phone call. And then I have to click on their Calendly to try to schedule it. I'm just like, oh gosh, like, can I just call you? Like, I am so ADHD. If you try to get me via text message or email to try to schedule something, just call me. Just call me. I'll probably pick up. If I don't, I'll call you back. So how many $50 checks did you write last month?
Oh, I don't know that number, but we probably do at least 5 to 15 a month for sure.
Awesome. And it's a check. It's not a credit to their account.
It's a credit. It's
okay.
A credit.
But 5 to 15 a month?
Yeah.
That's a slam dunk.
Easy.
Yeah, like think about that. On average, if you're comfortable sharing, and if you're not, that's okay. I'm just curious. How much do you pay a salesperson for a self-generated lead? I don't want to get too deep into it, but could you give me a round figure?
It's in that $50 to $100 range.
Okay, so they're salary guys that make like a bonus per sign up as well, yeah?
Right.
Okay, and so basically, do they get the same amount, your sales rep, do they get the same amount for a company lead as a self-generated lead?
We went away from that. We used to differentiate between, an in-house versus out-of-house, and we moved away from it because it was basically too much on the honor system. So
I got you. Like, oh, did they call in or was it somebody? And it's hard to track. And at 5 to 15 a month, you're like, just pay them out full commission.
You hand out your business card. They call in through the office, but you handed your business card out at an event. So it was self-generated. It's just they came in through the front door rather than through straight to you. Straight to a sale.
There are companies that will pay reps hundreds of dollars to create a new account. So there are companies out there that pay hundreds of dollars for a new subscriber. I don't know whether that's a good model or a bad model. I'm just telling you it is a model, right? Like they're willing to spend a tremendous amount of money to create a new subscriber. And I think that your ability to create new subscribers for $50 in a referral fee at 5 to 15 a month is phenomenal, right? So I just want to say that, like, absolutely incredible. I'm curious, when you're signing these folks up, they sign their contract, they schedule the install. Are you asking them for a list of folks that you could contact to offer them a friends and family discount?
No.
I think you are. I think you are, whether you realize it or not. Are you asking them for a contact list if their alarm goes off?
Oh, most certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've never leveraged it, though.
Low-hanging fruit. Like, so I just want to tell you, every time you sign up a new subscriber, you are asking them for a list of folks that are in their circle, right? When I want to buy something, I ask my brother-in-law whether I should buy it. The reason I ask my brother-in-law is my brother-in-law will spend days, weeks, months researching something before he buys it. I do not I'm like, I want a thing. I'm going to buy a thing. I don't have the mental capacity to do very much research, but I ask him like, hey, who should I go with? Right. And I think everybody has these people that they think of as intelligent, distinguishing buyers. Like they would trust that person's opinion on the product or the service that they bought. And just by virtue of the fact that that person bought it, they're like, hey, I should get that thing too, right? And so what I find is those folks that are on the list, those people that you would have the alarm company call when your alarm system goes off, those are probably folks in that inner circle, those people that you trust, those people whose opinions you value, those people that you can rely on, right? And so calling those folks and just saying, hey, this is Chuck from Heartland. I'm just calling you to let you know Lindsay put you on the list. You may get a call from us if Lindsay's alarm goes off. Do you know who the heck Lindsay is? Right? Like that's a good question to ask. Quick side note. There was a case where a woman worked at Target and her phone number on the emergency call list, first one was the phone number for the Target that she worked at. The second one was her sister. Okay. The first phone number when the central station called to report the alarm was the Target. They didn't have her extension. They didn't know what department she was in. They didn't know how to reach her. They did not reach her. They reached her sister. They told the sister, hey, we have an alarm at your sister's house, right? Okay, well, dispatch the police. Police go out, check everything, doors closed, no windows broken, no big deal, right? Sister gets another call from the central station. The alarm has gone off again, okay? Sister says, man, I don't know what's going on, but I'm a little concerned about this. Goes to the house, doors locked, windows secured, no issue, right? Leaves a note on the front door for her sister. Says, hey, sis, alarm went off multiple times. Just want to let you know, okay? Unfortunately, sister came in through the garage. There was somebody in the house. I won't get into what happened, but I'll say that had the company that was monitoring that account, a big national company, had they taken the time to verify that they could actually reach the person on the list at the phone number provided, this woman would not have endured what she had to endure, and it would have been a totally different scenario. Now, that's a scary, terrible case. Could literally happen to anybody on this call, right? Like could happen to anybody on the call. Phone number, don't reach them, no alarm, police dispatched, alarm company did absolutely everything they could do. Now, in front of a jury, it did not play out that the company did everything reasonable. Anybody I asked on this call would be like, well, the valid phone number, they reached the sister, police dispatched. What more could we do, right? Jury says, are you freaking kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? Anyways, I think it settled for multiple millions of dollars, right? It's a case of Monotronics back versus somebody. Check it out, look it up. Scary thing to just be mindful of. I'll be curious. I'll have to go back and revisit the case. I probably got it wrong, but I think I got it mostly right. All right, so now that's the scary side of it. The good side of all of this could have been, hey, we called the Target. We realized we couldn't reach her. We got the extension. We sorted all that out. Next, we called the sister. We said, hey, Lindsay has an alarm system. You might get a phone call from us if the alarm goes off. Here's what to expect, right? And we just want to let you know, by the way, you also qualify for our friends and family discount. Would you be interested in me having somebody come out to take a look at the house? Now, number one, we have prevented a terrible worst case scenario. Number two, maybe we have an appointment with Lindsay to sell her alarm system. Like no brainer, right? Just seems like an obvious opportunity. Robert, you have a referral program. What's your referral program?
So essentially the same thing, $25 to $50, depending on what kind of system it is. It goes up if it's commercial, it's lower for a residential account. It's a bill credit. I don't get a lot of traction on mine. And
can I be real? Can I be real with you?
Absolutely.
I think you guys are cheap. I think $25 to $50 for a paying subscriber, it's too cheap. And I'm sorry if that offends you. I don't want it to, but I want to be real with you. There are companies out there that are willing to pay hundreds of dollars for a new subscriber, and we have to beat them, right? Like that's your mission. That's your mission, is to protect as many people as possible in your respective markets and to beat the other guys. I don't think you can do it. I'm number one, $50, Chuck, you're $5 to $15 a month, incredible. I wonder if you experimented because that's the other thing. You don't have to have everything set in stone. You can experiment. You can tell the next 15 subscribers that you sign up, hey, look, we're running a promotion in January. Like I have I have an ultimatum from my boss. We need to sign up X number of new customers this month. And so he's given me the ability to pay out $100 for every new lead that turns into a new subscriber. Test it out. See how many more people you get. I think you'll find if you up it, like there are people that probably look at it and like for $25 might not do it. Like my wife, I love my wife to death. She will take something back to the store that was defective. It was like $5. And I'm like, Mary Pat, like, cool it. Like, you don't have to go back to the store for the $5 thing. Just toss it, right? Like, don't worry about it, right? But she's like, oh, I'm going back to Target anyway, so I'll do it. There are people that will be motivated by it, but there's other people that be like, it's just not enough meat on the bone for me to be like a really motivated person. Because that person that refers one person to you and gets rewarded with $50, they feel satisfied, right? Like if I like Heartland and my brother-in-law signs up and I get $50, I'm pumped. I'm like, cool, I got $50, right? But that's it. I'm done. Now, if you gave me $100, I'm like, shoot, $100. Like, I'm gonna call a couple more friends and be like, hey, Dan, who does your security, right? Like, you need to talk to Heartland, right? Like, all of a sudden, I mean, $100. My daughter likes name brand cereal. If I refer enough people to him, I can keep Abby in the name brand cereal. So, Robert, not effective up to this date, right? You've found it to not be very effective.
Correct.
Have you tried anything different?
No, not yet. I mean, I work with two different companies. The smaller of the two does that. The bigger of the two just has 1 million customers in another industry that they're tapping off of. So for them,
yeah, I mean, that's a totally different. I gotcha. I think, look, for the area where you have more autonomy and more ability to kind of be flexible, I would encourage you to experiment. I would encourage all of you to experiment all the time with things. It's one of the coolest things about being a small business is you can just do different stuff. Like, you could do something crazy. We did at one point, we shipped people live lobsters from Maine. And it was like wildly effective, actually. Like, I don't know. It almost seemed like it shouldn't be legal. Like, I shouldn't be able to ship you live animals in a cooler from another state for a referral thing. But we did. And it was legal, I think. So in any case, I would encourage you to experiment. We've got Robert Few on the call. Robert, what do you got?
Listen, I think these are all great ideas and things that we all practice. The dollar figure almost at some point becomes irrelevant. Yes, the $100 got a bing to it, but where a lot of companies fall down is we're not intentional about it. It's set it and fret it. We put it on a bill. We put it on on the website. What you were saying, as far as saying, for a sales guy who's having a down month, right? Just to call 10 companies and say, my boss just gave me the authority, or the authority to give you $100 for every referral. How many referrals can you give me? I want to win this contest. Whatever that is, to create that buzz, to get that customer to buy into your success and to reward them, whether that's $50, $100, a lobster, anything like that. I think where we fall down is we get so caught up in the day-to-day that we forget that we have a program. And I've talked to, dozens of companies like, do you have a referral program? Yeah, it's on our website. How many customers go to your website? Existing customers, right? So I think that whatever you're doing, you just have to do it intentionally. You've got to get out in front of it. You've got to talk to your customers all the time, whether that's through a newsletter or a phone call. But I think that, to Jake, your point, calling up 10 customers and just offering that. I mean, everybody, traditionally people give you 5 referrals. If you get snaked by a Cutco salesman like me, and you buy the entire set of Cutco knives, 3 that you already have because it's such a good sales pitch, you give them 15. I think, Jake, might have given an Irish, I was selling everybody's numbers that day. So I think that if it's exciting, right, and you buy into it, then you're willing to share a lot more.
Yeah, I will point this out, though, Robert. I am a sucker for a sales pitch. I'll buy it. I think it's good sales karma. If you find that you're not really you're not as effective at sales as you'd like to be, and you're also not one to be pitched, like you get angry at somebody pitching you, maybe think about that. Like, because I like, all jokes aside, I say sales karma, but I really do believe that if you're not open to being sold on something from time to time, not every time, I'm not saying be a sucker, right? I'm a sucker. I give the guy at the gas station money for gas, even though my wife says he's a crackhead, right? She's like, don't give him the money. I'm like, no, baby, ran out of gas, right? I'm a sucker. Okay. Don't be a sucker, but be open to buying. I think to your point, maybe you don't need all those knives, Robert. I think that's excessive.
And I'm still selling them for them, even though like every knife has now cut me. I mean, Shannon too, like we can't use a knife responsibly in this house because they're too damn sharp. But I go and I sell them to other people.
Not going to get you one of those choppers, those things they had. I used to have one. You just you hit it and it chops up your onion for you. Yep. Anyways, they're tough to clean, though. They're tough to clean. I want to point out that there's probably some folks on the call thinking, oh, man, missed opportunity. We should have totally offered our customers more money for referrals. We missed the boat. Oh, man, I'm the worst. I'm going to have to start from scratch now. The good news is you don't. The good news is that most of you on the call probably have hundreds, if not thousands of subscribers that you can start with today. And the way that you start with them is assigning somebody at your office, just the sweetest, nicest, most personable person at your office, not the person that hates their job. Okay. We know that person exists. That person may be you. It could be you. But get the person that is very personable and friendly with their customers, the person that maybe they talk to when they need service, and task them with updating emergency contact lists. This is just a no-brainer. If you haven't updated emergency contact lists with your subscribers within the past 12 months, number one, you run the risk of having a scenario that, plays out like that case that I was telling you about earlier, because phone numbers change. People stop working at Target and go work somewhere else, and now they have a new phone number. You have to verify those things. It's your responsibility. I really believe this. I think that if you don't do it, you're being irresponsible. And I think that it would be something that would be very easy to task that person with at your office with. Just have them call. Say, hey, Marvin, this is Jake. I just want to make sure I should call Jerry, right? Like, is Jerry still the best guy to call? And he's like, yeah. Or if I call, Robert Few and I say, Robert, should I call Shannon? And Robert says, no, Shannon dumped me. And I'm like, it's about time. It's about time, right? But, you do have to verify that. At that time, let them know, hey, by the way, thank you so much for being a customer for the past 5 years. I want to let you know you're part of our preferred customer program that entitles you to $50 credit to your next service call. So number one, we're gonna apply that to your account whenever you need it. Just let me know, and we'll go out there, change a battery, test your system, whatever it is. But number two, we have a $100 referral. We're looking for growth this year. We've had a really great year in 2024. We want to continue that momentum. We'd like to offer you $100 for anybody that you can think of. I see that we have Sharon on the list here. I'm going to reach out to her, make sure this is still the best number. I'm going to talk to Chuck. Is there anybody else? Is there maybe somebody that you work with? Your mother, is she in town? Whatever the case is, right? You can use that list that you already have to do better today. I'm going to go to Marvin. Marvin, referral program. What you got?
One of the points is it has to be fluid, right? Because it's probably going to change from time to time. We've tried to fluctuate the amount. We've tried to fluctuate whether it is, a credit to the account, which I think is really easy for most of us to do. But, if I give a real life example, if someone is issuing a credit to my account that's set up on auto payment, I'm probably not going to think that much about it because I'm already not seeing that charge. It's happening behind the scenes. We've had better luck when we've done something tangible in hand. And there are some really easy ways to do it. I mean, we've done Publix gift cards that have been a big hit in the past, and we've put a label on them with a thank you message. So we've given them something in hand. And there are some companies out there, I think Vanilla is one, and there are some others that they will brand gift cards for you. Me personally, if I get a gift card in the mail and it's with a card that's handwritten by, if Jake sends me a card that's signed by him and has a gift card in it, it's different than if he just says, hey, there's a $50 credit on your next order, because I can feel it. It's tangible. So we've had more success with that.
I'll tell you that we use gift cards as incentives. And Greg at my office, some of you may know Greg started sending them out with our logo on them. So there's a company, I don't know who he uses, but I'll find out. Obviously, I was totally on board with that idea, right? Putting logo on it. But it's interesting to see the difference. Like, we have folks that can get a substantial credit to their account. We have a rewards program. And so for every dollar you spend, you get 2 points, et cetera, right? It's actually a really good rewards program. But you get the points and you can cash them in for a credit, or you can cash them in for gift cards. And we have seen that a lot of folks prefer the gift cards. Like, they would rather do gift cards. We had folks do it for Christmas bonuses, for their tax this year. Like, they don't care. Like, they charge their customer what they charge their customer for equipment. They're really not as concerned about getting a credit on the invoice. They'd rather get the gift cards. So I would tell you, I would test it. I also think getting a credit, to Marvin's point, if you don't feel the recurring charge to begin with, I shouldn't admit to this, but I'm going to. I am paying for two internet bills right now at my house. And it's because I called the cable company to cancel the internet, and it was really hard to do it, and I gave up. And I still wanted fiber at the house, and I got fiber at the house. Super easy to sign up for internet, by the way. Really easy to get service. But I couldn't cancel the service. And then I got through to the guy, and the guy gave me a really good pitch on keeping it. And anyways, I have two, and it's been a couple of months, and I should cancel it. But like, they're both relatively, again, this is kind of embarrassing. It's like $50-something a month. Okay. It's an ouchie, oopsie, but it's not like, oh man, I really absolutely have to get that off my bill. I think that's Marvin's point. A monitoring bill for like $30-40. We may be misguided, because most of the time when we're talking to customers about the bill, it's like, oh, I'm canceling. I just don't need this. It's too much money. But we don't think about all the thousands of other folks that are paying you $40-50 a month. They don't think about it, right? Like, most of the folks think it's very reasonable. Most of the folks think they're getting a fair deal. Most of the folks aren't even really thinking about it. So I do think that's a good point, Marvin. I use a company called Handwritten. I have terrible handwriting. And so, I mean, it's so bad. And it's actually gotten to the point where when I write, my hand starts to hurt after I'm writing a lot. And I think that's sad, number one. I think it's sad. I use Handwritten. They'll handwrite a note for you. I got a handwriting that actually looks similar to what would be my real handwriting if I really tried really hard. My 7-year-old daughter writes much nicer than I do, and in cursive, actually. But Handwritten does a nice job. They'll also put a gift card in it if you want to. So check it out. I don't make any money off Handwritten. Maybe I should. I should figure out some kind of referral program, right? Then I'd really be promoting them. So we talked about referral programs. We've talked a little bit about ramping it up and amplifying it, and word of mouth, right? So that's kind of like an internal amplification of word of mouth marketing. External amplification of word of mouth marketing is in-person networking events. Going out there and getting into your community, getting into, the chamber meetings, the BNI meetings, whatever local groups that, you might be associated with, sponsoring those local sporting events, going out to places where you can meet with other professionals. I'm a dad with young kids. I find it hard sometimes to think about, hey, like, am I going to spend this time going to a networking event, or am I going to spend this time with my family, right? For me, it's a little bit easier because I have to make a very, it's not like, hey, am I going to drive to Orlando and be in Orlando for the evening? It's like, am I going to fly to, Salt Lake City and be in Salt Lake City for a few days, right? Like it's more of a separation. I suspect that for a lot of local business owners, it's actually more of a challenge to decide like, hey, am I going to spend this time away from home, like, but only 10, 20 minutes away, right? Because it's like you're almost home, but you're not, right? I think that's a challenge. If you're a salesperson or a business owner, you have a responsibility to your employees, to your customers, to your family to be successful. Like, I really believe that. I think that if you're in business, you have people depend on you, not just your family, but the families of the folks that work for you and your customers that, depend on you to provide a service. So it's actually your obligation really to be successful. And part of the way that you do that is making sure that people know who you are, right? Making sure that when somebody thinks, hey, I need a security system, who am I going to call, right? One of the easiest ways that you can do that is through networking groups. If anybody's in their Chamber of Commerce locally or a BNI group, can you raise your hand for me? All right, Cindy, is this your first time on the call, Cindy?
Your call, yes.
Awesome.
You're going to hate me, though, because I am part of quite a bit of groups.
I love you then. I think you're terrific.
No, not yet, because I do go to a few of the things, but, like, for example, ribbon cuttings and stuff like that. And sometimes I'm terrible about maybe providing my information for the services, because I almost feel like selfish, and I know that I shouldn't. But that's one of my struggles, I guess, is that I do go to those events, but I'm not being as active as I think I should be in that way of providing my information.
Can I be real with you about this? I think a lot of people that are in sales roles have some level of shame about being in sales. Like, sales is such a dirty word. You tell people that you're in sales or you sell stuff for a living, and they're like, ew, ick, right? Like salespeople, right? But I always tell people I'm the son of a door-to-door alarm salesman, right? Like, my dad sold alarm systems door to door, ended up buying a company, runs a successful security business, is a customer of mine. That's kind of cool, right? I've seen that sales, number one, provided for our family growing up. And I have seen now that, most of what I do is sales. I get to manage people, which isn't a lot of fun, but most of what I do is sales, right? And I've seen how that's provided for my family and for the families of the folks that work with me. If you are in sales or a business owner that's you have to sell stuff, right? That's your job, is to sell stuff. I hope that you can let go of the feeling of ick of being in sales. If everybody else hates you for being in sales, know that there's people like me and Robert that love you. We love salespeople. We'd like to buy stuff from you, right? I think I even see this play out on LinkedIn. I see all these things where people say, somebody connected with me on LinkedIn and then tried to sell me something. I'm like, well, what the heck are you doing on LinkedIn if you're not trying to sell or be sold? Like it's not like, hey, here's a nice picture of me. Sometimes it is, right? But it's also about building your network and about selling to people. And so, Cindy, I think I would encourage you to pick one or two of those organizations that you're involved with and get more involved with it. And I would say that there's some of those organizations are going to be more obviously geared towards sales. I'll give you an example. Are you in a BNI group?
That's a networking group, right? So
yeah,
there is a local one. It's called MBX, and I am part of it, and I have received business from there and also referrals. So, at least that part of it. But the chamber, I think I need to do more.
Yeah, chamber's weird though, because I think some people like confuse chamber with like being an involved citizen, being a member of the community, being am I there to sell and be sold? Like, there's no question about it with BNI. If you want to really like push yourself to get comfortable telling people who you are and what you sell and demanding from them referrals, BNI is like, and for some people that's off-putting, like, ew, gross. I'm going to go to a meeting and I'm going to have to give referrals and they're going to have to give referrals, and I was just there for breakfast and camaraderie, right? Like if you're going to a networking group for breakfast and camaraderie, like join a book club, right? Like that's just a waste of time, right? But if you go to BNI, you are exclusively in that chapter, you are exclusively that security person. There's no other companies. So like, and you will get over the fact that like, hey, am I supposed to pitch myself? Because you will have to pitch yourself to the group, and you'll have to sit through their pitches, and they'll have to give referrals, and you'll have to give referrals. And it's at first it's going to be really uncomfortable, but then you're going to be like, oh, this is how business networking is like supposed to work, right? It's a give and take. I think it will set a foundation for you to apply to some of those other organizations that may not be so quid pro quo, right? Like if you're in the chamber, you can't be like, you have to give me leads or you're out of the chamber. No, it's like, it's not like that. BNI is like that. If you don't produce leads, you're out, right? I'm going to call on Steve Quantock. Steve, thanks for jumping on. Are you in any local networking groups?
Yeah. Hey, Jake. Good morning. So yes, I'm active in the Chamber of Commerce in 3 counties around our office, because we sit in the Panhandle of Maryland. So there's 3 states that surround us from where our offices are. So I'm active in 3 different counties, expanding onto the 4th one here for 2025. So yeah, pretty active chamber member.
And so, all right, so you're in the Chamber of Commerce in 3 counties. Cindy's in chamber. How do you leverage your membership in Chamber of Commerce to make it an effective investment of your time?
It all has to be about what you give, not what you get back.
But ultimately, if you don't get anything back, like it shouldn't be like totally transactional, but like you are getting something out. You're getting leads out of it. Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But you're focused on the giving. And so how do you do that?
Constantly being in people's faces all the time at all the events and figuring out what they have a need for and whatever it is that they need help with. It could be simple as a referral to a new bank or a referral to somebody that, has an issue with a truck or trash service. It's just connecting people with other people. And then they remember that and they're like, oh yeah, I know you can help me with this thing. And now I need a security system. Hey, let me come talk to you about that. We're primarily a fire shop and security second. So we get a lot of referrals that way on the fire side by helping people do other things so we can help them with what they need.
That's awesome. It makes me think of the movie, I want to say it's Miracle on 34th Street, Macy's, the Santa. Like people come to the Macy's and he tells them that they don't have that thing there at Macy's, but that they could buy it at the other department store. And gimbals. Yeah. And like, and they flip out. They're like, no, what are you doing? But then people are like, oh my gosh, like this guy is great. Like we're going to buy more, and it like builds loyalty. And so, I think that's it's a underrated way to earn business, is just being a good source of information for people, right? Like people ask me for stuff all the time that I don't sell it. And I'm like, here's a link, right? Oh, you need somebody for sales training? Here's Audrey. Like, here's a link. You need somebody for, management consulting? Here's Robert, right? Like, these people that can help you. I don't make money on that. I don't want to make money on that. What I want to do is just give them a resource so that they say, hey, Jake's like a resourceful guy. When I need something, I'm going to call him, and maybe I could throw him a bone and order my Qualsys panels from him or something, whatever it is. But
it's always something like that. It's always whatever we don't do, we try and find a way to help them with that item, and then it ends up coming back around to us eventually. So Absolutely. Just keep doing that.
All right, I'm going to jump to Sharon Elder. Sharon, what you got?
So I have enjoyed this year starting to work with a few owners' wives who are involved in the business, are aware of the business. And just by the chance that they're involved and they hear what's going on, they know more about security than most people. And so I've been helping them do some PowerPoints, encouraging them to go to meetings. For myself and my kids' alarm company, I'm involved with law enforcement. And so every time there's a public safety meeting, I'm at the public safety meeting. And so just by being there, I get a lot of inquiries. It's no selling, but I'm visible And for anybody out there, I mean, I put a dot on my phone. So all my contact information is right there. So it's just quick to boom, hit their phone. They have the contact information. If they want to follow up about that video system, call me. So it's fun. And it's fun helping other women get out there and do something to support their husbands in their family businesses.
That's awesome. It's my mom and dad were always partners, right? Like, even when my dad was out selling, she was there riding shotgun, writing up the paperwork, doing all that. I think my dad's handwriting is probably, I think that maybe it's genetic, Dad. I think Dad's on the call. I think it might be genetic.
Don't blame your dad.
Yeah. It's lack of practice is really what it is. But in any case, I think that's so cool. I think there's a lot of folks too on the call that have the privilege of having their spouse, involved in the business. And I think that's really cool. Some people don't. And like, I love my wife. She'd murder me if we worked together. Like, there's no way. But I think it's cool when it does work out. I'm still amazed Robert and Shannon are able to, work in the same office. But I think it's just because, Robert, you accept the fact that Shannon's the boss, right?
100%.
Yeah.
No lie.
That's all he's got to say about that. I love it. Guys, I wanted to talk about LinkedIn and social media marketing today, but I don't think we're going to get to that. Maybe we'll have a dedicated call for it. But I want to point out, Audrey says people buy from those they know, like, and trust. If you walk down the street in your own neighborhood, I will guarantee you will see signs from national alarm companies that are not yours, right? You will see folks that decided to go with somebody else. And I would bet that a percentage of those people would have bought from you or would buy from you if they even knew you existed or knew that you were in the business that you're in. I honestly, I think it's a shame that some of the companies that have the most incredible, biggest footprint, they may not actually be, and oftentimes they're not, the best local service provider, but the best local service provider isn't known to the family that's moving into town. They don't know that they exist, and so they go with the Coca-Cola brand of the alarm business because they didn't know. Now, missed opportunity when they move in, but maybe they live there for more than 3 years. You have an opportunity to become known by them. You have an opportunity to become liked and trusted by them, right? And most of you are likable people, I'm sure, right? I think it's a missed opportunity if you don't take those chances in person. And I won't say, I said we weren't going to get into social media, but I think social media is the easiest way to do the very same thing, but with an amplified. The impact of somebody seeing a post on LinkedIn is not the same as me sitting down and breaking bread with them and chatting and building, a relationship and a rapport, right? But it's something. And last year on my LinkedIn, I had like almost 1 million impressions on stuff, right? 1 million impressions, people seeing my content. Those are micro opportunities to develop people knowing me, people maybe liking me, maybe trusting me, right? It takes more than that. It takes more than some LinkedIn posts. It takes, being an actual resource for them, supporting them, and having relationship with them. But it's a start. I'm going to jump really quick to Brent. Brent, I'm going to give you just about 30 seconds. Tell us where you're at with in-person networking, and then I'll wrap us up.
So I actually do belong to a B&I group, probably one of the largest ones in the country, over 100 members.
Wow.
It's been a little bit over a year now, and creating those connections with other industries, other people have brought in business, and it's worth the time that you put into it. But like you probably know, Jake, you mentioned it a few times, it's a weekly commitment.
Yeah.
And if you put time in and you do referrals, you should get out of it what you put in. So it's, I like networking is one of the things I like doing the most. I hate selling.
I think that if you just network, you can get away for the most part without having to sell, right? Like, I mean, people just say, hey, Brent's the guy, and you're not selling them when when you guys give them a quote on security. It's like, oh, well, I'm their guy. I'm going to quote them, and and they're going to buy from you because they know, like, and trust you, right? And because you gave them leads, right? Like, right. I think that's part of it. So anyways, guys, number one, for those of you that are on the call that find yourself in a sales role, whether you are in sales or whether you're a manager or business owner, I want you to be confident in that, right? I want you to be proud of that. I think that, number one, if salespeople don't sell it, nobody else matters. I mean, there's always that war of techs versus salespeople and who's better, and the sales guy oversold it, and the techs being a, pain, whatever the case is. But like, when you really break it down, the very core of it relies on sales, because you could be the best installer in the world. If nobody's buying, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. You don't even exist, right? You're working someplace else because nobody made the sale. So be proud of being in sales. Number two, if your business relies on word of mouth marketing, congratulations, kudos to you. The fact that you've built such an excellent reputation affords you the ability to run a business with a marketing budget of almost nothing, right? It's amazing. But take the opportunity to amplify it, leverage it, use your referral program, use networking opportunities, whether that's in person or online, and let people know you exist, because the amount of blue octagonal signs I see in each of your own markets when I drive around town, nothing wrong with it, right? But I ask myself, how many of those guys would have called Brent? How many of those guys would have called Marvin or John had they known what a great guy Brent, Marvin, and John are, right? I think most of them would have, right? And they would have loved the fact that they could get service and a fair deal. Anyways, I hope you got something out of the call today. We have this call every Friday at 11 a.m. I invite you to join. I invite you to invite other people to join. I invite you to bring coffee, but it's not required, right? For those of you that do business with us today, I want to thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to do business with you. I appreciate the opportunity to bless and brand your hardware with your logo on it, front and center where it belongs. If we don't do business today, I invite you to reach out to me. I would love to talk to you about the services that we provide in addition to shipping boxes. I think that we provide a lot of value to our dealers, first and foremost, by ensuring, again, that their brand is printed on the products. Guys, I wish you all a very happy new year. I'm optimistic about 2025. I hope that you are as well. If there's anything that I can do to help you this year, please let me know, and I'll look forward to seeing you all again next week at 11 a.m. Thanks so much.